What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King. I'm so really excited to be back online here, Facebook Live. Just recovering from a cold, still got it, but I'm here banging it out, and I know that everybody else out there, whatever you're going through, I'm sure you're banging it through. Just trying to get through it all, and we're going to talk about... There's quite a lot of energy still going on in the universe, and I'm going to talk about these major transits going on this week. I'm going to talk about even more transits that are coming up. And then, there's even more coming up at the end of this year. And then when you look at 2018, I did this Russian television show a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago. And they wanted me to make predictions for 2018. And I really hadn't done it yet, so I was kind of like, it was a little bit on the fly, and I was like, whatever, I'll do them. So I started looking, and I'm like, oh, whoa. I'm like, if you think 2017 was crazy, I'm like, 2018's is extreme, You get it all in 2018. You get so much, but now we're looking too far. Let's try and stick with this week to try and understand what's going on and help people. Because really, that's what astrology is for. It's helping people understand what's going on so they don't freak out, but also to understand what is happening. So let's just take a look first off at... and you're going to have to give me a second before we go to the chart, so I'll talk for a second here. There's so much energy with Jupiter starting to oppose Uranus. Now, this is the last time it's happening for us. Jupiter is the biggest planet. Uranus is not the biggest planet, but it is pretty dang big. It's definitely not the second biggest like Saturn, but it's up there, and it's an outer planet. And Jupiter and Uranus are actually pretty friendly, so they both are trying to teach. They just do it in their own ways, right? It's kind of like Jupiter's much more the guru, trying to teach you things in a much more bigger, more optimistic way. Uranus is the crazy guy who teaches you things, but, does it in a way to where you weren't ready for it. He doesn't like traditional aspects at all, where Jupiter has that Piscean element, remember, because Jupiter is ruled by Pisces, which has kind of a religious element to it. There's a lot of other elements to it all with traditions. Jupiter's pretty traditional. I know that it can open doors and stuff, but there's a lot of tradition that hangs out with Jupiter. Uranus is about breaking traditions and breaking molds. So when you add the power to these transits, or you even add Jupiter to Uranus in any way, the last time Jupiter and Uranus conjunct, which means they were together, was, I don't know if you guys remember, in 2010. So it's interesting that we're having the opposition now, right? And remember that Jupiter is on a 12-year cycle. So if you think about it, right, like every 6 years, Jupiter and Uranus are going to oppose. And that's what's been happening this year, is that halfway point, right? Because we're coming here to 2018, half of 8, right? You just do, anyway, it's a weird cycle. It's a very weird cycle. And it just overloads the planet of overloading, which Uranus is. Uranus finds, where can I blow the fuse? So there's a lot of fuses popping right now in the universe. That's a good way to put it. Fuses popping in big ways. How do I maintain my traditional self while breaking my traditional self? There's a lot of that going on too. I'm going to show you guys in the chart. I didn't set that up before I got here. So hold on one sec. We were lucky we were able to get into it. Yes, we were. So let's take a look. So when is all this going down? Well, Thursday's probably one of the most intense days of the year. And when I mean intense days, I mean truly one of the most intense days. And why is Thursday one of the most intense days? Well, Jupiter and Uranus will exactly oppose at 27 degrees, right? Okay, so there's Uranus in Aries, a fire sign, right? So it's all on fire, cardinal. which is one of the strongest cardinal signs you can have, all about spark and light. And when you have Uranus in there, which is the rebel, the one that wants to teach you and, breaking the traditions and trying new things and going in crazy directions and dealing with even your neurotic aspect of yourself, and it's being amplified in a tug of war with the planet Jupiter, which is in Libra, which is trying to play, I don't want to say play it safe, but Jupiter in Libra is trying to win the argument, right? In Libra, by proving facts, proving a safer venture, proving where things are weighed out. There's things to prove in Libra. There's nothing to prove in Aries except if you've got the strength to do it or not, right? So Aries is all about, look it, I bench pressed 400 pounds. I'm strong. Libra is like, well, you might bench press 400 pounds and you're strong, but you're pretty weak. When that little rat ran by you, you screamed like a little baby. And you also ran away from your wife when she was drowning. And blah, 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 blah. I built a case. Because remember, we also right now are dealing with the sun that is in its fall position, right? Because the sun is in its exaltation in Aries. So that means the sun's weak. Venus is at fall, which is weak. So we've got a couple planets in fall, right? Not the strongest aspects. And so there's a little bit of a weak energy that's going around. And this, it's the battle between saying, no, I understand, and I'm going to do these crazy things. And then the facts of this case behind you to try and prove to yourself, oh, can you do it? The doubt about it. And, it's happening at the exact same time that the planet Pluto is coming direct, which is already in astrology. I've called it one of the most extreme transits always of the year is when Pluto switches from direct to retrograde or retrograde, back to direct. These are always extreme shift points in people's life. And how ironic that the day that Jupiter opposes Uranus, the day that Pluto goes direct. Right? So Pluto will move finally forward, okay? But what's even more interesting is the moon. The moon will be covering Pluto as it comes direct the same freaking day. So when you mount up the energy from a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10 plus day. And we're all ready to pop. That's the best way I can describe it. People are at wit's end in every aspect of their lives. I'm just ready to just pop. I'm just ready to just explode. I'm just ready to pop my fuse. I'm just ready to finally, can we get something figured out here? Can we get something going? Are we going to quit this? Are we going to do this? Like there's a lot of those questions on the table. And, questions on the table is definitely a Virgo life with Mercury in Virgo, Mars and Venus in Virgo. And we haven't even talked about Mars and Venus. Mars and Venus, okay? Look at this. This week, 11 and 15. In my opinion, a 3-degree orb, which is the distance between planets is what an orb is, right? Is the beginning of a conjunction. We are right there at that orb that's beginning. And it's interesting to me because it's happening in the sign of Virgo where Venus is at fall. So Venus isn't too happy already being here. And then Venus and Mars, like, sure, Venus loves to have Mars on top of her. But, not in Virgo. It's like if it was in Libra, oh, she'd be stoked. But then Mars wouldn't be happy. It's kind of weird. Venus and Mars, they have their own little dance, right? And that's the whole dance between men and women. They're finicky and different in their own unique ways, or just in energy in life. The feminine and the masculine energy is different in their own ways. But here is this, and I'm going to use the word, but extreme. This extreme wanting to push things forward in very neurotic times and get some sort of resolution to what's going on. I mean, Virgo wants to know what's going on. It doesn't care about visions, which is the opposition in Neptune. We can get lost in them for a second. We could try to take breaks, find escape. Some people might be doing drugs. You might be having your escape in something just to get out of all this craziness lately. But this Mars-Venus is opposing Neptune. And I think it's really interesting because it's, the frustration of wanting to develop, create, and move forward in partnerships, projects, and the delays that Neptune has been bringing, the questions that it's bringing up, and you're already dealing with Uranus and Jupiter. You're already dealing with this alternate reality that you're choosing major doorways in crazy spaces, because Jupiter is a doorway opener, right? It's the door opener. Uranus is the door opener of dimensions. So when you have both of these in opposition, it's like this dimensional doorway with Pluto, which rules the underworld, opening up itself at the same time. There's massive fears being bubbled up by Pluto of endings and change and fear. And a lot of it is because there's this in-between realities we are all surfing on the wave towards, Like it's like a tubular, like crazy ride, and you're trying to stay balanced in the Libra energy and be like, okay, I'm trying to keep through, but the waves are big right now. Jupiter opposed Uranus is like a big set, right? It's like a huge tidal wave. I mean, if you think about the buildup of the last 3 weeks of Jupiter-Uranus, I mean, Uranus deals with weather patterns and earthquakes and, tornadoes and hurricanes and all these things. I mean, this is the peak up of what all that stuff was in many ways, Sure, a lot of people can blame it on the eclipses, but really it's the eclipses combined with one of the biggest transits in astrology, Pluto coming direct at the same time that Jupiter and Uranus are opposing. This is the energy about to pop. So it's people are reaching their wits' end with life in general. It's no coincidence that, people that are preaching the Bible are trying to be astrologers with revelations and predicting the end of the world during this time, because it could feel like that, even though it's not logically going to happen and it's not there and there's no proof. And I'm sorry if you watch those videos, they need to take astrology 101 before they become astrologers. But, it's like, it's ironic because people can buy into it from the way that things are. Now, the interesting part of all this as well, to me, that actually kind of goes beyond all this, which I've already talked about, the doorways opening, the overdrive of Mars and Venus, right? That's on right now to develop and create what you want, which relationships. It's this Neptune opposition. This Neptune opposition has been happening for the last month and a half, right? With all these, with the sun that started, okay, Mercury that retrograded. It's been going on for a while, opposed Neptune, and now Mars and Venus. And what this is the outer world. Okay, Virgo is the reality we're in, but Neptune is the outer world. But it's the media, it's television, it's our internet, it's our phones, it's our visual way of how the world. This is the battle between worlds, especially with Jupiter opposing Uranus. Like it's I guess you could use the term from H.G. Wells, like War of the Worlds. It really is right now, because it's crazy, because the media and the news cycles and everything, and this isn't political, even though we could go there, but all that shit that's on this, right, or up on that TV or whatever, right, it's all pushing how the world looks in a Neptunian way. But reality is much different. So people are losing themselves in realities that are being told that is reality. So let's use the example of this American flag thing, which, I mean, gosh, if you look from a third perspective, it is just so stupid. I mean, this is what we're fighting about when people are dying in other countries, and we even have Puerto Rico and all these crazy things going on in the world. and we're fighting and squabbling over this and that. And I think a lot of it is because the Neptunian energy is opposing all this stuff. It just opposed the sun. It just opposed Mercury this last month and a half. Now it's opposing Mars, and now it's opposing Venus coming up, right? And so it's the battle of worlds. And, you know, when I looked back at my 2017 horoscope and I was predicting that September and October, well, into October, was going to be a great time. And I started to go, well, in my personal life, it's actually been very great. But when I look at how it's being presented in the world, it hasn't, right? So there's this also battle now of the world being told through the lens of the media that that's the way the world is. When now we have somehow been disempowered, which I think the whole entire Leo energy has been about, is empowerment, right? Empowerment in self, empowerment in your heart, empowerment of your own happiness. But ironic, South Node's in Aquarius, all this energy's in, Pisces with Neptune. I mean, this is like sucking your own power away into believing into a world that's horrible, believing into a world that's not great, that's not good, and the fear of the overwhelmingness when you're dealing with a Jupiter-Uranian opposition. I mean, you're dealing with Uranus, which is no irony that Uranus also deals with nuclear energy, and then you're dealing with, it in Aries, the sign that deals with bombs. These are the degrees to where the Boston bomber was when it was the sun and Mars and all those crazy energies back. I think that was 2013 in Aries. These were these degrees right here, okay? I don't know if you guys remember that, but I'm a crazy astrologer and I remember these degrees, and this is exactly where the Jupiter and Uranus opposition is happening. What's even more ironic is the last degrees of Jupiter, right? So Jupiter's at 27 degrees. It's going to come to 28, 29, and then boom, comes to 0 degree of Scorpio, right, on October 10th, okay? Right around the corner. But the last time that any major planet was here, and I'm talking about outside Jupiter, okay, so Saturn world, Saturn was here from 27, 28, and 29 in Scorpio in those almost around the same time, just 5 years ago, the last week of September of 2012. The last 2 weeks of September to 2012, really. And then into the first week of 2012 of October. So here's Jupiter covering that shitstorm, okay, at the same time, while Uranus is covering the shitstorm of the 2013, some of the stuff that was going on there. And I mean, you could kind of contribute that we still are dealing with a Pluto-Uranus square that's ending, that started in, you can go all the way back to 2010 and 11, right? I mean, you can actually go back to 2010, and that was Pluto-Uranus in Aries and Capricorn. Even though they weren't exact until 2012, that was the beginning. And then what's interesting is the moon's going to cover this, and Pluto coming direct is going to aggravate the scratch or the tickle that can't be fully hit right that's been going on since, we could say, 2012. Uranus is covering a lot of that stuff and aggravating it, and so is Pluto at the same time. These two aren't done. We are seeing this outward crazy reaction to so many layers. I mean, it's insane when you look at the layers that are connected to 2012, and anybody that denies that 2012 was off on the calendar system for the Mayans or the change of the world is literally insane, because they are not looking at it from this perspective of how come all of these layers that are being highlighted by these transits right now highlight that change in time of 2012 for all of us. All those layers. I mean, I'm like trying to prove it in my writing. I might look like I'm a psychopath. Like, you might, oh my God, that guy just draws crazy lines over planets, man. He's crazy, man. No, maybe I am. It was interesting. Last night, I watched the new Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And the new Pirates of the Caribbean was all about finding the trident, right? of Neptune and following the astrology to find the trident, okay, which is buried under the sea and will break the curse of all the curses in the sea, right? I thought it was so interesting. I was like, whoa, the map that no one can read. And the map that no one can read is, and especially Seaman, is the stars. You know, they can read like their nautical maps, but the stars are the ones to read the most. And we'll get rid of my crazy psychotic drawing there to make it not look like I'm in that movie The Ring or anything. But, and you know, truly we should actually erase all this, but so we can kind of understand what's still going on here, because there's still more to cover. Really, there really is. You might not think there is, but this is a battle of worlds, realities, and projections of reality. Sure, I'm not going to deny and be somebody who's, look at this. Like, look at CNN just posted something on my iPad while we're live. And then it's in and out. And do you think that that's irony? There, and you know, my app's the same way. I send you a little notification on my app, boom, just like that. Send you a little subliminal positive message to hopefully send you some positive. But we're dealing in a world now where we're getting told stories, and they're all opinion pieces, most of them. And even the titles are opinion pieces. So, you know, and we're taught that now the news organizations that we live in are actually opinionated news organizations. They're not news, you know. So they're subliminally coming into our consciousness and our frequencies. This is dealing with frequencies with Jupiter opposing Uranus, okay? Because Uranus rules frequencies, okay? Now, it was proven recently that the frequency of Earth, which I think is around like 7 hertz, right? And humans have that same 7 hertz frequency, right? Okay? Well, what's going on with Jupiter opposing Uranus as these new doorways are opening? There's new frequencies that are coming in. And especially Neptune deals with frequencies, but Neptune is cloaked behind false representation of what the frequency is, right? So a good example of Neptune's false frequency is, and I'm going to use a very horrific example, even though I love Neptune, and I'll show you a positive one. The horrible one would be I'll say it because you guys follow me for saying the crazy shit. So a good example of a false frequency is the candy man who says, "Come on, little kid, come into my van and get some candy." When you know that fool is looking not for candy, okay? He's looking for kids. So a good example would be Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's what they do, right? He tries to steal the kids, buy candy. Or just like in Pinocchio, when they try to get the boys to go to the island, right? Where they can go smoke and drink and become free, where they turn them in actually to little donkeys and send them off, right? Okay, that's a false frequency. It's a frequency that's coming across as something, but it's delivering another one. That's Neptunian. But Uranus is pretty clear about the frequency. It's pretty much like, you know, lightning bolt. Shit, man, look at that. Crazy. Whoa, that's a crazy one. Whoa. But with Jupiter opening all these doors, there's these new frequencies that are coming in that are trying to match with not only Earth's frequency and humans' frequency, but there's a collective conscious frequency. Now, I don't know exactly what that frequency is, but, you know, this is a frequency that's swaying the opinion of not only humans, but Earth's point of view. And it's almost like this is a major moment where, and how funny that I'm starting to draw the Scorpion, which it's like all coming to Jupiter and Scorpio, which will truly stop. I don't want to say it's going to stop the divide, because if anything, it's going to create the divide stronger, because it'll be like, this is what frequency I'm on. But we are in a world right now where everybody's on this hanging moment in their life of what frequency to be on. And if we use simple terms, it's like, should I kneel or stand at the fucking national anthem? do I like Trump or do I hate Trump? Right? Is the world going to hell and the rapture, or is it not? You know, these are the crazy frequencies that are coming in to people's paradigms right now. Okay? And with Jupiter and Libra, it's kind of like, oh, well, it could be a little bit of both, right? Like Jupiter and Libra just fucking hangs on the fence forever. It's like, come on, man, just make it a choice. Jupiter and Scorpio is going to be like, okay, yes, I'm all about standing. And, you know, some people are all about doing whatever that they're going to do. Or, no, I'm going to only kneel. It's like Jupiter and Scorpio is going to bring an end to this hanging Chad moment, I guess you could call it, in the world. Like it really is going to say, no, this is the frequency I choose to be in. And it's going to bring that stubbornness back because the fixed energy is rather weak right now. We're in mutable, cardinal. It's I'm starting, but I can't keep it going. It's like, I'm kind of like all over the place right now. But these frequencies that are going on right now, and they even extend outside of the media, manipulation, and all that stuff, because especially with Neptune, you got to realize, like, I mean, come on. This is media manipulation, whether you like it or not, or whether this has nothing to do with an idea behind Trump or an idea behind anything. This is just fact astrology, okay? Like Neptune in Pisces is the media, and it is a twerped media, and you have to decipher between what's real and what's not, and what is the real person selling you candy, and who's really just trying to get you in the van. And it's energetic vampires sucking your energy as well, because when you actually think about Neptune, it can take you down the wrong hole. So once you get in that van, you don't even want to know where you want to go. Next thing that you're putting on is leather clothes, and you're hanging out, and we all know that movie, Silence of the Lambs. You're hanging out with weird skin clothes on at the bottom of some hole. Neptune can take you way down the wrong place. But Neptune can also take you to some really beautiful places, So maybe it really was candy, and you eat the candy and you go, oh, I'm in a great place. I feel great now. Okay. So but deciphering the right thing is Aquarius, which comes before Pisces. And this is where the South Node is. And unfortunately, with this Aquarian energy, it's about, a little bit of street smarts. Aquarius has street smarts in it, right? Because it's Aladdin hanging out he's not in the castle, right? He wants Jasmine. Remember, North Node in Leo is Jasmine, okay? Jasmine in the castle. So how does Aladdin get into that castle? Well, he's got street smarts and everything, but he can't get there unless he finds a genie with some energy to give him royal power, or he pretends to be royal in order to get into the castle. But the problem is people are trying to change or infiltrate or get Jasmine or change the world by trying to just stay Aladdin. I've been saying this fucking since the beginning of all my videos, that all this Aquarian energy is about people complaining of what the kings and the queens are not doing right, what everybody with a Leo energy is doing wrong, what every kind of personality that seems like they're happy it's the crab syndrome. Bring them down. They're fucking having too much of a good time. Bring them into the shithole with me. It's like, what? That's part of the frequency level that we're choosing right now, is because if somebody's feeling like they're doing good, then, we need to bring them down with me. There's a lot of that going on right now. And unity can only happen when, that's the sick and twisted thing about unity. Unity can move together into high places, or unity can take us down like the crabs at the same time down to a shithole. It's like when that one comet came by, right? in the 90s, and all those people believed they were being taken away. And I'm not saying maybe they were right. Maybe they did get taken away. I don't know. But, unity can, especially in a time when Saturn's in Sagittarius belief system, can catch on and then unify and then just gone, And this is a time to really, especially when it comes to this Neptune stuff and media and frequencies and what are the frequencies coming in, because the problem is there's so many frequencies now that are shifting with Jupiter and Uranus and Neptune at such a high degree, and it's opposing Mars and Venus, and it's fucking with your desires, it's fucking with your wants, it's fucking with your ego, and it's fucking with your emotions, especially with Venus in a fall position. It's messing with your values. It's messing with all those things. You need to be careful not to get swept up into some belief, into some crazy unity project that could take you down the wrong road. This is a time for detachment and self-preservation of positivity. Positivity, positive outlooks, positive vibes is what to preserve first, and then look at everything from a positive place. But if you're in a negative, hurt, upset, obsessed, or even triggered place dealing with world events, other things, and you're not in a happy place, first, to look at the frequencies, well, then basically you just are ingesting just extreme negative frequency energy right now, and you are going way down the tubes fast. And the more this is where the universe is doubling down, and I would even say tripling down on Thursday, because Pluto's coming direct, and Pluto don't fuck around, guys. Come on now. Let's not play dumb. I don't want to play dumb anymore. I don't want to play, and I don't play dumb astrologically, but I'm done. It's like, especially the guys on YouTube and stuff, like, man, like they just eat apart everything now. It's like, let's not play dumb. Like, Pluto is in Capricorn. Like, it is changing the world forever, And so, yes, a lot of people think it's capitalism, or yes, a lot of people think it's the government and structures. And you know what? It's all that shit. Yes, it is. But you know what it mainly is? It's tradition. It's changing. Capricorn's tradition. And here's another Jupiter element, tradition, all being twerked. So it's uncomfortable to watch tradition be twerked. In anybody's mind, okay? It doesn't matter who you are. It's uncomfortable to watch tradition be twerked, because we were all consciously given the ingredients of that collective consciousness of tradition based upon the last Pluto transit that was from the late 1700s, which was in 1760. I think it said 1763 and 4, somewhere in there, all the way to 1776, right? So that was when we defined what tradition was. And of course, we created America, and that was a whole new thing, like people being free and governing themselves and no monarchy and all that stuff. You have to realize that was hard for anybody. There was more people that were Tories. You know what a Tory was? A Tory was somebody who lived in the colonies who decided not to pick a side and stay with the royals and the British and just not get involved with the war and stay a British person and I don't want to get involved. Don't mess with me. It's like, just do the British thing. Hi, hello. I eat my crumpets. I'll pay my taxes. But, rebels were not Tories, And there's a little bit of that going on right now in the world, where it's like the whole world's changing so dramatically, and it's taking people to find very tough new mountains to climb in order to stay alive, to have your life go in the right direction with business. There is no such thing as stability in what you typically know as stable. So when it comes to money, your own traditions of what money is saving, real estate, all the things that you think are going to keep you safe, with Pluto and Capricorn, it's opposite. It's also opposing Cancer and traditions of of what we think safety is, but it's mainly about our path in the world and where it's going and our destinies and our jobs. And, a lot of it is like the faster you change to the new world or be the leader of that new world, you're fine. But the more you hang back and follow, you're going to be really far behind. So if you're still looking for a job on Craigslist, which, I'm not going to say don't do that, but I'm saying like, if that's your hope for changing your life, it's almost like, or you think that the 4 years of school and then you'll get a job and you'll just work for 30 years and you'll get your pension and you're hoping that Social Security is going to take care of you at the end of all this. If you're living in that kind of idea of life and you're not willing to take the big risks to make it in life, Pluto and Capricorn's at the second half. Okay, we're now in the higher degrees of Capricorn. The mountain's getting taller. The stakes are getting higher. And with Saturn coming into Capricorn and everything, this is what my live show in November is going to be all about. Is about all this Capricorn coming in. We haven't seen this much Capricorn come in since the late 1200s. And that was exactly when the Knights Templar ended, and it was exactly the transition into the Dark Ages. So I don't want to freak people out. Dark Ages don't mean it was dark. It just means that not a lot of information came out of it, and maybe there's a lot of people who don't want to tell the story of what happened during those ages. But the transitions that happen, that are coming in the next year and a half to 2 years, are what brought on the Dark Ages. I've proven it in a million, jillion astrological maps. I did it last year in September at Hope in the Desert. I'm about to drop the biggest show about that coming up. So where do I end with all this talk? Well, one, frequency is everything. What is being projected to you is at all-time high of manipulation, of how to think, how to feel, and how to live. And the ultimate test right now is whether or not you're choosing to look at the lens of your own life and your own happiness through the lens of your own eyes, instead of the eyes of what the world is telling you how it should be. That is the ultimate of the first. That's the first major test. I mean, that's dealing with the Leo eclipses. That's dealing with Mars, Venus in opposition to Neptune. That's dealing with Jupiter oppose Uranus. That's dealing with Pluto coming direct. It's time to find your own highway. And I'm telling you, people do not like seeing people on their own highways. They're pissed. They get jealous, they get upset, and they want to tear you down, and they want to take you down. And that's been embedded now in our collective consciousness. If somebody's doing good, they're not part of the team, and we need to take them down. Find a way to take them down. And that's the scariest part of South Node in Aquarius to me. It's terrified me since the beginning, and maybe because I'm a Leo. And yes, I call myself the Leo King, and people think I'm the biggest egotistical maniac in the whole world. I got called it 1,000,000 times again last week. I deal with it every week. But Leo energy is not about your fanatical ego. Leo energy is about living the life that you want to live and be happy. And just have some fun and tell some jokes. Maybe get a little attention here or there, flirt a little bit here and there, but it's definitely not at this ego position of fuck you, I'm the best, and I don't like anyone. It ain't that. Leo energy wants to love everybody and help everybody find their path. Because what's better, a world where everybody's happy, or fucking a world where you're all alone with your ego and you have it all, but everyone's unhappy? That fucking sucks. That just sucks. So, people are angry. Ooh, I want to see who's angry. I don't like it. But it's the truth. And you know what? The truth is what hurts. And when Jupiter comes in Scorpio, it's going to hurt even more. Because Jupiter's about to come into Scorpio and just, you know what it's going to do? Is it's going to do this. Okay, it's going to drill that Leo into everyone, that North Node Leo eclipse into everyone's psyche. Just bam! And it's just going to show the truth of all the bullshit and all this unity consciousness over nobody can have a happy life. Everybody's got to have a shitty life. And everybody's got to live a certain way, right? And that's the only way it should be. And if you're on that track, you're horrible. It's like, wow. But you know, you can erase all the planets and just look at the nodes, okay? Just look at the nodes and just follow them, right? And just be like, oh, there's going to be a year and a half of upheavals and revolutions of people who are unhappy with happy people. It's going to be a year and a half of that. And then when the node switched into Capricorn to Cancer, oh, okay, with the North Node of Cancer, it's going to be all these people who are working their ass off and hate people who are taking breaks and have savings and focus on their family and have, you know, safe homes and things like that and aren't slaves. Capricorn can be in the slave world, you know, people who are slaving away. And that's what we're coming into in less than a year and a half when all the Capricorn energy comes in, it's tripled down with a South Node there, which I don't even think, when I remember right, the 1200s didn't even have that. So if you think the 1200s were crazy and brought in the Dark Ages, oh, well, it's tripled down. So start to do your longer astrology and start to see all these things. My second thing is frequencies are at a high thing, and I think I said it at the beginning, but other frequencies of how to see the world, how to be in the world, and try and find the frequency that aligns with who you are and on your path, what feels right about your path. These are major choices about your path in your life, about your goals, your career, and your long-termness. And so you need to follow the frequency that feels right. If it feels wrong and it feels off, and it just doesn't feel like it's part of your path, or that people just aren't seeing it the same way, or they're projecting something, you've got to call it out and see how they respond. This isn't where you just make a move and go, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. Call it out. See how they respond. I guarantee you it will either alter the frequency to your frequency, or you know they're, okay, we're not on the same frequency, let's change. This is definitely going to put conflict with relationships at a peak. Venus is about to oppose Neptune. Jupiter's about to oppose Uranus. Jupiter and Mars are coming together. This is all, Mercury's about to come into Libra at the end of this week. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about conversations about relationships and conflicts with relationships and stuff? But also amazing new connections in relationships, the right partnerships, all, you know, that's the flip of the universe in the world. So a lot of people have a couple questions that have to deal with this awesome, crazy webinar. This is the first time I've ever done a webinar like this on Thursday. So what it is this. Because Jupiter's coming into Scorpio, what I've done is I'm doing the normal October horoscope on Thursday, but this one after is going to do where I do the 12 signs and how each sign is going to be affected for the year of Jupiter in Scorpio and the transits and how it's going to affect them, okay? The thing about this one is it's live on a Facebook group. So when you purchase it from my website, it's a 2.5-hour event. And it's going to be on a Facebook group, and you watch it through there, and you get a deal if you buy the webinar. Now, if you can't make the webinar, it's going to be sold separately. The October horoscope will be sold separately at its normal price, and then each sun sign and rising sign and moon sign, whatever one, are going to be sold individually. So it's much cheaper to go watch it all go down and then have access to the group forever and rewatch the video anytime that you want for $24.95, and that includes the whole month of October. You could even buy now, and if you can't make it, just be part of that group and just stay in that group and watch it a day later or whatever. But if you do not buy now and after 5 p.m. or before 5 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, you will, if you want my October horoscope, be charged $16.95, and then you will be charged the $9.95 for each sun sign that you want. So this is the deal of a century, if you think about it, because for only $24.95, I'm giving you all of it, and you'll have it for the whole year, or as for infinity. You'll have access to that group to watch the videos. Anyway, it's going down on Thursday. So, but for those that don't choose this road, don't want to pay the $24.95 and want to pay the $9.95 for just the sun sign, or for just the each sign, or the sun signs, or the rising sign for Jupiter and Scorpio, and your moon sign, you can buy those. Those will be up by the weekend or Friday individually to buy. It's a video. You can download it and watch it and have that forever. So people are saying, if you buy the webinar but can't make it, what you of course you get it. You're part of the Facebook group where it has the video where you can rewatch it. This is not a webinar on Zoom. This is on Facebook in a group. So you have to have a Facebook, and you go get it at inclusiveastrology.com, which is my website. Inclusiveastrology.com. You click on monthly specials. You click on October, and then there it is. October, Jupiter and Scorpio special event. So anyway, well, I hope that this helped out. I know that there's a lot of information. I know that it's crazy. The energy could feel fried and popped, and we're about to have that pop come. You know, there's going to be some relief here from it, I believe, even though I think that the week after this, first week of October, is going to bring up a lot of things about transitions and change in your life, like it did in the last week of September of 2012 into the first week of October of 2012. We'll talk about that. Now, I have to put this out. I am gone next week. I am at the World Finals for jet skiing for 9 days. So the full moon spiritual dance music, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that out there because I'll be at the World Finals. And then live videos will not be in the studio like this. If I do any, they'll be in my trailer or whatever. So anyway, yeah. No, I'm not putting this stuff on the app. So you can go to inclusiveastrology.com if you want to get it. Because I get extremely charged by Apple, and then my whole partnership, they take over half of all my money, and then Apple's taking 30%. So it's like I don't even get anything. I do all that work and I don't get crap. You know? So anyway, so I'll be gone for 9 days with World Finals. So that's why I kind of did a little extra video, a lot more energy. But of course, if you want to watch my videos every day, the LeoKingApp.com, or just go to the Apple or the iPhone store and get the Leo King app. Anyway, thanks for all your support. Truly appreciate it. I am sending you all my best, and I will see you all later.
The Leo King app is the world's first and leading video and notification astrology horoscope app for iPhone, Android, and computer. Get daily spiritual videos and addictingly accurate notifications alongside weekly sun sign horoscopes, tarot videos, and exciting new age entertainment videos by celebrity astrologer and TV personality David Palmer, the Leo King. Join today. You have nothing to lose with a 7-day free trial and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.